Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and what a transfer madness. Not one, but two. Gundogan back at Manchester City. I believe this could be the signing of the summer. And Joao Felix back at Chelsea. Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that statement's true, but it is. Gundogan obviously played for Man City, was a bloody good player. Joao Felix has been at Chelsea before. What are your thoughts on those two transfers? And I want to talk about this last few days of the transfer window, but how Manchester City have done next to nothing and have probably pulled off the best signing of the summer. I'll talk about that. Get your comments in. There's probably City fans falling off their chair because I want City to get found guilty because I want the Premier League back. But ultimately, they might not. And in a purely footballing sense, I'm never going to lie about the quality of players they've got, the quality of the coach they've got. They are a juggernaut on the pitch. Whatever's gone on off the pitch, what happens on the pitch is fact. De Bruyne is fantastic, so is Rodri, so is Haaland, so is many of their other players like Foden. But Gundogan, for me, is absolutely incredible. I was very happy when he left to go to Barcelona last summer. I felt that last season, Arsenal probably got closer to Manchester City because Gundogan was gone and De Bruyne was injured for the first half of the season. I just remember the end of the season, not this one, the one before, when they won the treble. Gundogan just became that player in the last few weeks that was the most important player for Manchester City. And yes, he might be a little bit older, but the quality, he knows the league, he knows the team, he knows the system. I mean, to do that deal on a free, absolutely incredible. And I think that, yeah, there has been some good potential signings this summer. But what are we always talking about on this channel? Continuity. You know, Chelsea would have been better with Poch. Villa beat West Ham because they've got continuity from last season. Man City and Arsenal looked really good on the opening weekend because they've got continuity. When you buy a player that you've never had play for you before compared to bringing Gundogan back, I'll bank on Gundogan every single time because he's quality, but he knows the league, he knows the team, he knows the system. And for a free transfer, that could be incredible. There's a lot of people talking about it being a free transfer, by the way, and going, oh, it's Man City, it's Man City. But I have a theory on that. We'll talk about that in a moment. We'll talk about Joao Felix, though. Super 6 is back this weekend. We're so excited to be working with Super 6 on the game this season and having our own official That's Football League. That's 6 is the code. Links in the description. Scan the QR code to get involved. All you've got to do is pick 6 results from 6 Premier League games and predict those, and you will accumulate points by doing that. I had a worldie last week, but remember, each week we're giving away a £100 voucher for classic football shirts. So you can enter this now. It doesn't matter because it's a weekly prize to be given away. It does accumulate each week. You can play monthly and everything else, but we're doing a weekly thing and we'll be shouting those people out each week. I'll talk about the league in a minute, but the 6 games are Man City, Ipswich, Spurs, Everton, Palace, West Ham, Villa, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Newcastle, and Liverpool, Brentford. So you predict the scores for those in game. Enter our league with that 6. It's free to play. It's a lot of fun as well. Just to let you know how good I am, I predicted that Villa would win 2-1. I predicted that Arsenal would win 2-0. And not only that, I predicted that Brentford would beat Palace 2-1. That's not luck. That's pure ability. And I sit currently in our league 21st, which I will take, because there'll be a lot of people who will fluke it in week 1. But to be 21st, I think that shows my quality. Can you take me on? Big shout out to our winner from last week, by the way. Rob Owen was top with, it was actually joint top, but he got top because of goal difference, apparently. Rob Owen, well done. Big shout out to you. It could be you this week. Get involved. We're really enjoying this. And as I say, it's free to play. Super 6, links in the description, or scan the QR code. Can you beat Goldbridge? Only 20 people did last week. Thousands didn't. Have it. Right, let's get back. Look, just talking about Gundogan before I talk about Joao Felix. Some people complaining, oh, it's Man City again. It's the Man City tax. They get more money for their players when they sell them than anybody else. And then when they buy players, they get them on the cheap. I think what's happened here is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but Barcelona got Gundogan on a free. I'd have to double check that, but I think they did. So effectively, I think that on a free transfer, last year, 30-year-old went last year on free at the end of his deal. A year later, he's coming back. So effectively, there maybe should be a transfer fee involved, but ultimately Manchester City let him go for free because it was the end of his deal, and they get him back on a free. So whether he went for 50 million and they pay 50 million back, I can't be asked about some. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Man City could have paid 20 million, they could have paid 50 million. They're not in financial trouble. So bottom line is, Gundogan's back at Man City. I think it's a very, very good signing. Who else is back in the Premier League is Joao Felix. Now, this to me, I could write a book on Chelsea at the moment. They're massively confusing. There are so many levels to it. I'm quite surprised that Joao Felix is back at Chelsea, but I suppose it's got a lot to do with Conor Gallagher going to Madrid. I mean, he's had more flights than bloody Ryanair to Madrid, hasn't he? He's back, he's there, he's back again. But he is back there to stay now because Joao Felix is going to be part of the deal instead of Omaridian, who was going to be part of the deal. And there is a weirdness to that. You know, you do sort of look at it and go, well, Chelsea wanted Omaridian from Atletico Madrid as the striker, and Conor Gallagher was going to Madrid. Then Conor Gallagher's coming back because the deal falls through, and then he's going back to Madrid, and they're taking Joao Felix. There has to be a conversation of like, well, that's not the player that you wanted because you wanted Omaridian. But the point really matters to me is that I've always been a big fan of Joao Felix. I know there's a lot of negativity around the deal, but I've always been a big fan of him. Chelsea have obviously got some sort of transfer ban coming in, maybe even points deduction as well, and they're accumulating players. That's very, very clear that Chelsea are doing that. Is Joao Felix going to be Chelsea's solution to their goal scoring problem? Absolutely not. In a different way to Nicholas Jackson, he's not going to be prolific because that's not what he is. He's a good player. They still need that prolific striker. If they're getting Joao Felix and they're not getting a prolific striker in the next 9 days, then they failed again. And they run the risk again. There is still talk that they will still move for Osimhen, and the way Chelsea moved, they could sign Osimhen, Toney and Lewandowski in the last hour of the transfer deadline. So, you know, who knows what Chelsea will do, but they have got to get a striker in. If they do get a striker in and they've got Joao Felix in, I mean, it's the same old story with Chelsea, isn't it? It's just you have an amazing wealth of options, and how do you make them all happy? Because I still look at Chelsea and go, really, squad-wise, it's better than anyone. I think they've got a better squad than anyone. Not individual quality, but, you know, spread of squad. It's incredible. Too big, arguably. But Joao Felix I'm not going to slag off Joao Felix because I like the player. But has he achieved what I thought he would in the game? Absolutely not. And there is always that question mark of, you know, he's coming back to Chelsea after a first campaign that wasn't that good when he had that loan deal. But he's permanently there now. It's a different manager. You say he's going back to Chelsea. It's a very, very different club, isn't it? But I guess we'll see how it pans out. But get in the comments. I think Gundogan, sadly, as somebody that wants Man City not to win the league, I think that deal is incredible on a free transfer. Yes, he's 33, but, you know, you look at people like Modric winning the Champions League at 35. I don't think 33 is going to be an issue for Gundogan. I think it's an incredible deal for Manchester City and a daunting deal for the rest of the league. The way I look at it is, if Arsenal had took him, they'd be going crazy about what a deal it is, and it's the juggernaut that's Man City bringing him home. So I think it's a very big problem for the rest of the Premier League because he's a very, very, very good player. Don't forget to play Super 6 on your way out. Free to play. Play against me in our league. That's 6. Predict the results for 6 Premier League games this weekend. Links in the description. Get involved. It's great fun, and you could be winning that £100 voucher for classic football shirts as well. Take care, everyone. Smash a like and subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.